Hello, everybody. I hope everybody's having a good evening. I'm Steve, and this is Hobo with Wood. And I am tickled to death to see 61 of you here waiting on this dumb redneck to get here and talk to you about what we've been doing this week. So I hope everybody's had a good week, having a good weekend. I was watching some of the comments while I was waiting to go live, and uh, I realize, there's some other things going on tonight, and I'm thankful for each and every one of you that are here. This was not supposed to happen, at least what I was told. Whenever that other channel decided they were going to switch back to Saturday nights, I actually talked to Patrick and asked him, I said, man, that's going to put us at it heads up against each other. He said, no, 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 no. We're only doing every other week, and we're going to be doing 8:30 when you do 3 in the afternoon. So we'll never be in conflict. And I said, okay, well, that makes sense. Well, Patrick and I never really had any creative control over anything. We were asked and we'd give our input, and then we were told what to do. So I don't fault Patrick at all for what's going on. But originally, I was told there would never be a conflict. And I hate that there is, because we have a lot of the same viewer base. And I was even prepared tonight. I was thinking, okay, well, if they change their schedule to they're going to be heads up against me on Saturday evenings, well, I was going to change my schedule again, and so I could get it to where it was alternating. But this is not their regular schedule. This is a pop-up. So nothing I can do to change it, nothing I can do. And I'm not going to worry about it. I'm not going to let it phase me. And I'm going to ask you guys to please keep the comments civil. I was baited last time with the surprise pop-up, and I took the bait, and I'm ashamed of it. Being completely candid, I owe that man quite a bit, and I would not be where I am today without the knowledge that I gleaned from him. But things changed, and nothing I can do about it. Here we are, and just keep things civil. No. I'm not going to be doing any trash talking. I don't want y'all doing any trash talking either. All right. So enough of that. Let's move on. I hope you read the thumbnail. Because tonight is going to involve probably quite a few squirrels. I'm not starting my timer tonight. Last week I said, okay, well, we're going to keep it to 90 minutes. But there's a lot of things that have been taking place and has happened and going on this week, and a lot of questions in the YouTube comments and emails, and I'm going to try and address each of those for that individual person. But if they've been asking questions or that question, I'm sure some of you might have had the same question going on in your head. So we're going to be talking about quite a few things. We're going to actually get into the design of this back here. There we go. That's my, I teased you with it. I had this idea. I was thinking in my brain, that scattered brain, that it was going to be a 3-tier bunny. And I couldn't, I had not done the math yet when I was putting it together in my mind. So I was not aware of how tall a 3-tier bunny would be with 2.5-inch eggs with enough space in between them to get them in and out of there. And I try to keep my designs so that they can be cut out of a single piece of 12 by 12. So I had to rethink the way they were structured, and you can actually get a dozen eggs on Mama Bunny here, but this is the whole bunny family. You can get, and I'll show you all these designs on the website, but I'm going to show you the bunny family in Lightburn in a few minutes. Go over some of the things that you have to be aware of if you get the file. Because there's some things that actually Lightburn won't do. I don't know if you believe that or not, but Lightburn has got some incapabilities when it comes to this file. And I had to find a workaround, and I'm going to show you that. but a lot of thought went into this design. Whenever I was putting it together, designing it in Lightburn, I've told you guys several times, it's always in your best interest to design small, and then you can always scale it up without an issue. But if you design it here, you may not be able to scale it down. So initially, that's what this little guy was supposed to be. This was supposed to be just a scaled down version of Mama. And when I got to looking at it, I said, man, that's the perfect size for a single egg. Maybe just a Cadbury chocolate egg or something. I said, happy little accident. I said, I'll develop 2 more files to go with Mama, and we'll make a Cottontail family. And then I went on to even further thinking about the design, and I wanted to make them truly unique. So, in fact, let me pull up the website. Website hobowithwood.com, and then we'll open that, and then we'll switch you over to here. All right. So there's a photograph of, and I in fact, let's just go on down to the post. I said, this is my family of Easter bunnies. There's Mama Bunny and 2 bunnies, a brother and a sister. And then there's a close up. Now, this is the little boy. He is full of energy and always getting into troubles. That's why both of his ears are erect, and he's fully alert. And he's that little demon child that just always into something. Peter Cottontail, wasn't he always into trouble? All right, so that's Peter. And then this is the little girl, and she's much more calm and mainly just wants to look good. That's why she's got the little ear droop down. She's creating a little bangs look going on, and she's just all about being pretty. And then Mama, then there's Mom. She's just plumb tuckered out and from keeping up with the little ones, and she's got both her ears are down. She's just worn out. And this whole package is already on hobowithwood.com, and it is normally $10.99 for the whole family, $10.99. But for the next 24 hours, it's going to be on sale at about half off at $5.49 for the entire package. But if you don't want the entire package, there's a singles available, Mama singles available of the little girl. The only way to get the little boy is with the whole family. Let's see here. Now switch back. So we're going to get into Lightburn in a little bit and show that and how the designs are and the stumbling blocks that you got to look for. But I may have mentioned this. I know I mentioned it to my patrons, and I may have mentioned it in some of the previous live streams. Some of my bronze patrons, which all of my bronze patrons get 60% off on the files. Well, more than a handful complained about me giving away free files during the live stream. And they're like, well, we got to pay to be a patron, and we're only getting 60% off. I said, yeah, but you get the files that I'm giving away for free anyway, for free. Yeah, but why should they get anything for free? We have to pay to even get a discount. Can't keep everybody happy. And I do try. That's why I do multiple time slots, trying to accommodate as many people as I can. So what I'm going to be doing is more of things like this right here. This file, this complete file, is on sale at half off. It's half off for 24 hours. But what I am going to do tonight, I'm going to do some drawings, and we're actually going to give away a few of those files as my drawings for tonight, instead of just giving it away to everybody. Again, just trying to keep everybody appeased and happy. And then here's one thing I did. I'm gonna turn my little rotator on here. Oh, well, if I throw it off, well, I'll just show you. After he's laser cut, glue a little cotton ball on the back. So now you got a little, that is Peter Cottontail. And then I did the same thing for the little girl. And Mom's so big, she got 3 cotton balls on the back. And I'll show you on this. Now, this, if you get just Mama actually has a place to hold all dozen eggs. There's a center hole in there, which I meant to leave off on this one because whenever I do the whole family, I thought that the center piece, leave that hole out, and then if you want to put like a little chocolate bunny in the center, one of those small individual wrap foil bunnies, you could put the chocolate bunny up there and not be in the egg, and you can even do the same thing on the lower layer. So those are my commercial Easter files, and there's my religious Easter file. Both of those are on the website. Let's see here. I made some small notes to try and keep myself from getting too squirrely. Like I said, going to do over a lot of things. There will be squirrels everywhere. So whenever you've got a question, let's limit let's limit our questions to the subject matter at hand. And then I will open later on for just some general questions if I can try and address them. One big thing that has been a very common theme from not just my viewers here, but even when I was involved on that other channel, people say, how can we get notifications? How can we miss out on the live streams because like this week, instead of having 2 recorded videos, I've been having trouble with my editing software. So both Tuesday and Thursday, I was live, and people were like, man, I wished I'd have known. Well, I've told you, and I've told you, and I've told you, you have to subscribe and hit the bell. Well, YouTube keeps changing everything. And every time you think you got it figured out, it's something different. So people say, well, I've hit the bell, but I'm not getting the notifications. Well, I started looking into that today, and let's jump over here to a YouTube channel, one that I really, really enjoy, and it's not mine. Now, I have unsubscribed so I can show you guys. But when you come down here to my channel or any channel that you want to subscribe to on YouTube, you hit the subscribe button. Then once you do, the little bell will pop up over there. Now, again, it doesn't cost you anything to just click that subscribe button. Now, when you hit this notification bell, if you just hit it, you'll have these options that pop up. What do you want to see? Do you want to see all or personalized, none, or unsubscribe? You got to come up here and click on the all. And then it says there, you'll get all notifications. And that way you will not miss out on any of the improvised live streams, any of my truly pop-up live streams, because that's what they were. This week I got so frustrated and so aggravated with my editing software. I mean, I finally just said, the heck with it. I think I went live one time at like 3 or 4 in the afternoon. And because usually 4 in the afternoon Eastern time for me is when most of my viewers are on. So during the week when I go live, that might be kind of might be more of what I do. Let's see here. Now I talked about that. Where'd my notes go? Come on, come back. And I'll share that with any of the patrons watching. I finally figured out the Patreon phone app. We were all struggling with that, but I finally figured that out, and I'll make a video just for you and post it on the patrons, but I got that figured out. And then I'm curious. I haven't scrolled down in the comments yet to see who all's here, what's going on. We got close to 120 here, and I appreciate every one of you. But I'm curious now, questions and comments about the last week's live when I said bamboozled by bamboo. Has anybody tried my technique? And I know several people have, because they've sent me photos of their successful engravings using my technique, where you pre-focus the laser, you raise that laser 5 millimeters and speed it the heck up. I mean, that thing's flying to do bamboo. How many of you have had successful uh, engravings on bamboo using that technique. And have any of you done that and had less than spectacular results? What kind of laser were you using? Talk to me about that. And while I'm getting ready for you to load up some of those comments, I told you then that when I was trying to figure out why the results did what they did, I was basing that off of my perceptions of what I was seeing, not what I know. I don't have this vast knowledge of how diodes are collimated, or how they're focused, how any of this stuff. I'm just looking, okay, my Y was putting out, 3 and 4 times the width of an engraving that the X was. So when it was so pre-focused. So I come to some assumptions, and you know what assumption, and when you assume. So but I had done some reading, and I did some more reading this week, and I've always heard and always been told that diode lasers are rectangular. That's just the way that the light is emitted from a diode. It is rectangular shaped. When you've got a 30-watt diode, that's 5 6-watt diodes that are being shot out and then focused down into a single point. Some people in the comments in YouTube said, well, if you focus that with a circular beam or a circular lens, then that rectangle spot is no longer rectangular, it's elliptical. And that is true from what I read. But you cannot, and that'll give you an elliptical spot size. It's not going to be oval. It's going to be kind of stretched out a little bit. In order to affect X and Y with a circular lens, or it might have been with just lenses, period, it would require, I think it was circular lenses. It required 2 lenses. One lens that would focus the Y, and then another one that was going to focus the X. I don't know if this module has 1 lens, 2 lenses, or 12 lenses. I have no idea. I just know what mine was doing. I did reach out to Dimitri to ask him about trying to duplicate the same things that I was seeing and help explain why it was doing what it was doing. And he's still in Greece, and Craig informed me that the reason he's in Greece is he's, I guess, going down there to get married. And he's going to get married, and can you believe he didn't take any lasers with him? He got no lasers. He can't do anything. He's going to get married. I don't know what all that's about. And I reached out to Leo. I hadn't heard back from Leo yet. So I'm trying to get some more clarification on why it's doing what it's doing. But whenever I start talking in technical terms, I'm the first to tell you, I don't know what I'm talking about. I've never built one. I don't know how they're assembled. I don't know how they work, but I'm trying to comprehend it. And when I see, I'm basing my knowledge off of real world experiences and what I'm seeing happen, and sharing that with you. And some of you may have been building lasers for the last 40 years, and they're sitting back there going, man, what a dummy. And then there are a few of you out there who think you know as much as I do or more than I do, and I just want to hammer me about how wrong everything is, but then you got no facts to back anything up either. So but I'm trying to learn. So I'm not going to go through the roll call. If you're here, you're here, and I appreciate every one of you being here, but there's a lot of roll call there to call out, so I'm not going to do that. And like I said, I just happened to see a comment. Let's, guys, let's try and keep things above board. And let's try to be respectful, even if you're not getting respect. Let's see here. I'm trying to read some. Oh, and for any of the newcomers, if you have a question, or if it's even a comment that you really want me to see, precede the question and or the comment with a question mark. Putting a question mark first and then putting your question and or comment is what will get my attention, and I will acknowledge it. Otherwise, there's just so many comments in the stream. I'll be forever trying to scroll through them. So I scroll really quickly looking for the question marks. And so right now I'm looking at some of these comments. Some of them are quite long, and I don't want to post anything up on the screen that's not respectful. And I'm just trying to get caught up here. All right, there we go. How's everyone tonight? Let's see if Steve pulls a rabbit out of his hat tonight. I can't wait to see this one. Yeah, no, I pulled 3 rabbits out of my hat, and man, they're going to be a whole lot more than 2 squirrels. So tonight is going to be, whoo. Yeah, and let's see here. Get on down, get on down, get on down the road. Now I'll get docked from YouTube for saying that. Copyright infringement. But they won't recognize it because they only pick up on singing, so they won't recognize that as singing. All right, I'm trying to get down past all the man. Y'all got a lot of hellos and howdies. I'm looking for any comments or questions right now. Trying to get down to anything about any of the bamboo stuff. And I talk forever without scrolling through this. So here we go. I see bamboo. Well, Stacy, I watched, but don't have bamboo in my inventory. But I'm going to try it on other. I don't know that it's going to work, Stacy, on any other materials. I think that it's. I think this is going to be a unique thing specific to bamboo. Someone asked me in the YouTube comments about using that same technique on acacia wood, because the acacia also gives such varying outputs or results. But that's because that's the acacia is truly a wood, hardwood, and I don't know if it's truly a hardwood, but it's not a grass. Bamboo is a grass, and you're actually burning grass. And with the acacias, well, I've got some right there. They can have such a varying dark chocolate and then a cream color all on the same piece of wood. And then when you get 2 boards that are joined up against each other, you got that seam of a dark chocolate and then that light tan. Those are going to burn completely different. And no matter, I don't know of any trick you're going to do there. So when I do acacia, I try to find the most uniform area, and acacia, because of that, acacia is not one of my particularly preferred products. What happened to Daddy Bunny? He got the foxes got him. Foxes got him. It wasn't trying to think who was always after Peter Cottontail. Wasn't it a fox? I can't remember. I mean, what? I set 2 bamboo fires yesterday. Dale, you didn't set any bamboo on fire using my technique, did you? Because I was moving at 12,000 up to 20,000 millimeters a second, moving that fast. I don't know how you would have set any fires there. Now, that other technique that is recommended in some of the libraries where they talk about going low and slow, I can see that causing all kinds of fires. You don't want to go low and slow with bamboo and walk away. So I'm curious, Dale, what kind of speed and powers were you using to set fires? Let's see here. Anthony says amateur. Always take a laser, and I'm guessing that you're referring to Dimitri there. But he's going to get married, so I maybe we should cut him some slack. I mean, after all, he's going to get married. Poor fella. Wow. Okay. Wow. Thanks, Tom. Never expected. I'll never ask for any of these ever again. Always greatly appreciated when they appear. The only thing that I do ask, and let's put this going across here, is make sure that, especially now that I've shown you that notifications bell, and that's probably what I should change this to: like, subscribe, and ring that bell and share this. And if you are looking at a new laser, and if you're thinking about the Rolly, that's my affiliate link there, rolling at the very end, hobowithwood.com/Rolly. If you'd use that, that helps Leo know that I did at least help you think about it, or you've seen it and me talking about it, and maybe I influenced you or not, but it helped me out with my relationship with them. And that's another thing that I've been a little wary of by venturing out on my own. Am I going to lose any of those relationships? And so far I haven't. And Leo has committed to doing a giveaway on my 2nd anniversary. So things are looking good. Let's see here. Daddy Bunny ran off with the tooth fairy. Yeah, well, let's see here. A question mark from Craig. Glad the streaming has been fixed. Thanks for all you do. Well, and what Craig's talking about, I tried to do a stream strictly for my patrons the other night, and I screwed all that up and ended up, instead of streaming it like this, I was inviting everybody to come join me here in the studio. I had it all messed up, and I still don't have everything completely worked out. I'll be working on that all day tomorrow. Oh, come on now, Stacy, it wasn't that bad. Yeah. Let's see. Question mark. I don't have Lightburn yet. How can I run your files in Gerbil? I don't know. I don't know anything about Gerbil. When I started with lasers, I was intimidated and scared to death of Lightburn when I looked at it online and got the first 30-day free trial just to look at it, because it was the first time I'd ever seen any kind of processor like that, and it was intimidating to say the least. But I pushed ahead and plowed through, watched as many YouTube videos as I could, and then 30 days later, I got my laser. And once the laser showed up, I was, semi-versed in the software. And now, pushing 2 years later, here we are. And I wouldn't want to use anything else but Lightburn. And when we get over here to Lightburn in a second to look at this design and the heads up with the limitations that Lightburn has in this file, there's still the ability. And I'm going to show you how, if you wanted to, I want to show you how to do this yourself, because one of the big questions that comes up a lot on some of my designs is people are like, that one don't have it, this one does. In fact, let me pull this one apart. People ask me, so man, like on some of my Christmas ornaments and stuff like that, if you look real close, there's a notch right here. There we go, a notch there, and there's notches on each side. They're like, how do you know where to put those notches, and how did you get those lined up, and this goes together real simple. That one larger knot has got a radius on the top, which allows that to slide in, and then you just come around here and snap it down into place, and it's easy peasy Bob's your uncle. And pushing that down on there, this thing is now pretty rigid. It's in good, you ain't gonna throw it like a football, but it's not going anywhere. But I have no information on Gerbil whatsoever. If now my files on hobowithwood.com, they're available in Lightburn files, SVG formats, AI formats, and DXF formats. So if you know about Gerbil and you say, oh, well, if it's SVG, I can import an SVG. Well, it's there in an SVG. I learned the hard way this week that the new X tool that's out, which I really don't even like saying that name, and it's clack smack me on the back of the hand. I need to quit being so negative about it. But I had a very bad personal experience with that machine that nearly made me quit doing lasers. So, and it's hard for me to get past that. But I told someone, yeah, they could import the SVG into XCS, and Clack says that it works most of the time. Sometimes it don't, and he recommended me get XCS and start testing the files. And I don't really want to go that far down the rabbit hole with it. But if you're using Gerbil and you can import an SVG, all of my files are in SVG, DXF, AI, and Lightburn. So hopefully that answers the question. But I know nothing about Gerbil. Yeah, Chicago Bob says don't let the DEA find out you burning grass. Let's see here. Yeah, that's what I was told, was he was getting married. Now he's working, but I was told that I think he'd gone to Greece to get married. He's obviously, no, he's not in the shop. He doesn't have any of his lasers or his tools or his regular workshop. But yeah, I messaged him, didn't realize it, and he told me, yeah, man, it's 4:00 in the morning here in Greece. I'm going back to bed. And I said, oh, I'm sorry. Bye. Okay, come on. Let's see here. Looking for any questions. I was looking for if nobody, like I said, I've seen some posts and pictures of positive results, but I was just curious if anybody here tonight had tried that technique last night, or the raising it. Okay, so now I've gotten to the bottom of that, and so now let's see. Come back here. Notepad, not that one, stupid. Well, that one. There we go. All right, we're going to jump over to Lightburn and look at this file. And before I do, question I just seen that I just signed up for the Gold Patron. Where do you find the code? After the live stream ends tonight and I get called up, I will have to go in. Patreon will send me a notification that you have signed up. And once that's done and the payment post and clears, that's when they'll send me the notification. And as long as I'm still up and awake, I'll go in and set up that code for you and email it to you in Patreon. So, and that was where some of the problem was. People were only using Patreon on their phone, and that is not the easiest thing to do. And until I show you all that, you may have already figured it out. A lot of you may have, but a lot of us older codgers, and then that technology can be confusing enough as it is, and then they make it really hard to find anything on the app. But I'll send you a message in Patreon with your code, and if you're gold, that's 100% off on all the digital files. Let's see here. I just went to Hobo with Wood to get your displaying eggs file as a gold member, and still wanted me to put it on my card. Yeah, I don't know why that would be, Cockatoo, but let's keep our questions limited to what subject matter at hand right now. Send me a message in Patreon. You're a gold patron. Send me a message there in Patreon that you've tried to do that and it's not working. I'll look at it, see if I can get it fixed. You're a gold member. I'll email it to you. You won't have to go find it. You won't have to download it. I'll send it to you. Okay. All right. Now let's jump over to Lightburn, but let's keep one thing in mind. In Lightburn, how many ways are there to do something? One. There's only one way to accomplish any goal in Lightburn. That's my way. No, there's 100 ways to do something. I'm going to show you how I do it and how my brain processes. So if you know of a better way that might save me 20 steps, by all means, share it with me. But if you see something that you weren't aware of, you might learn something that, I didn't know you could do it that way. So keep an open mind that there's always more than one way to do things in Lightburn. So let's get Adam off the screen here. And we'll go over to I really enjoy watching him. Let's see here. Lightburn. Lightburn. All right. Now, if and when you go to hobowithwood.com and you open the we're going to do the bunny family. Bunny family egg holder, bunny family open. This is how the file will come in for you. Now, I have this nested on 3 separate 12 by 12 toolpaths. This was what I felt like was the most efficient way to get this cut out, unless you had some scrap laying around. You only need, you're going to need 2 pieces to get these large, the large pieces for the body of Mama Bunny. The rest of this stuff is small enough that it could potentially be cut out of scrap material laying around your shop. Because when I was designing the smaller ones, I was actually cutting them out of the scrap material that I had done from some of the crosses. So hopefully you've got some skeleton piles around and you can use those. And these little projects are great for your skeletons. But what you might notice here on some of these, all these random tool paths, well, they're extremely important. They're there to let you know that these are all internal slots. And Lightburn cannot recognize or adjust internal slots. These are designed currently for 3mm wood. So if you're working with 3mm to 2.8 millimeter, and you might even get by with 3.1 or so. But if you want to make it out of anything larger, if you want to make it out of some 4mm or 4.5mm plywood from Lowe's, you're going to have to enlarge these internal slots. And you're going to have to do it each one because Lightburn will not do it. So I'm going to show you over here with this body. Right now, we'll ungroup everything because when you're using the resize slots and shape tab, it will not work if there's anything that's grouped together if it has slots on it. So right here, this slot is an external slot. This one's an internal slot. And if I go to the tools and the resize slots and selection, go to material thickness of 3mm, go to slot width, and I'm going to tell it I want it to be 4.5mm. That's what a lot of the low stuff is. Now here it looks like it's seeing that, but this is actually just a toolpath. In fact, let me turn the toolpath off temporarily because that's kind of confusing. Cuts and layers, we're going to turn that off. Don't show it. Now go back to that tools, resize slots and selection, 3mm, slot width. Okay, there. Now it's more evident. See, it's seeing that and it's wanting to widen that one. It's wanting to widen all these up here and this one. But if the toolpaths were still on, you'd see this internal slot. It's not recognizing it. Lightburn will not recognize internal slots. It doesn't know what to do with it. It just says, and bypasses it. And I don't know if it's something that they're working on or if it's just something that can't be figured out. It's just too much to be done. But that's what these toolpaths are here for. So I'm going to cut this back off and turn the toolpaths back on. A very simple, easy way to do this is select this toolpath, which runs across to both slots. Now, anchor points are extremely important when you're doing this because if you have your anchor point in the wrong place, it's going to screw up the fitment and the design. So anchor point, and some of you may be familiar with, I coined the phrase anchor point maybe a year or so ago. Lightburn doesn't have a name for this. It's not even listed in the literature, the manual, anywhere. I think they might want a place might just call it a radio button or something, but never really defines what it is. But I call them anchor points, And when you're doing this, the anchor point needs to be in the center. There are times that we will maybe move that around, but for this application, what we're getting ready to do, anchor point's in the center. And the anchor point I'll show you here in Lightburn. These 9 dots that are up here in the top, just underneath your camera and besides your sizing and rotate, I refer to those as anchor points. And right now she's in the center. And this is a toolpath that is currently 3 millimeters wide. I'm going to unlock my aspect ratio. And what is the new material thickness? If you were going to make it out of 2 millimeter basswood, it's probably not going to hold up very well, but you could. But if you're going to make it out of 4.5 millimeter plywood, you change your height here, which is the thickness of this toolpath, to 4.5 millimeters, and say okay. And now it has just made that toolpath bigger. Now what you're going to do is select just the inner path. Now, if you ever, like right now, I'm going to group these. If you select something and then go to node editing, I've just clicked node editing, but there are no nodes. That's because it's grouped. You cannot see nodes of anything in a group either. So you have to make sure it's all ungrouped. Once you ungroup it, you can see the nodes. Now, you could, since we need to adjust these 2 nodes and these 2 nodes, we need to adjust all 4 of these. You could actually take, if you're really good with your mouse and you got a good mouse, you could select those 4, then zoom in here tight, and then just grab this one and take it right up here to the corner of that toolpath. Then come back and grab the bottom 4 and move just that one. And now you've just enlarged those slots to 4.5 millimeters. Anywhere there's a toolpath, that is something that you'll have to do. Here up on this one up here, what I would recommend doing is, if this one needs to be 4.5 millimeters, grab that toolpath, and again, with enlarging from the center, change the width this time because it's running on the y-axis. Change that to 4.5 millimeters. That just widened that up. Select just the one, go to node editing, and grab those 2 and take it over here to the corner. Now, if you see what's happening here, you're getting something funky going on because of how close the proximity of those nodes were. So undo. Just go ahead and grab that node and push it all out there. Come on, get in there. There we go. And that one does not have one too close, so you can just drag just those 2. And now select just that one and duplicate it 4 times instead of editing all 4 of them. And you only have to do that on the internal node or the internal slots. And all of the internal slots are marked with toolpaths. Now, this egg, it's not even egg shaped. It's an asymmetrical egg. So it looks like some of the stuff maybe doesn't quite line up, but it does. It's exactly where they need to be. Because I created all of these. Well, and I'm not perfect, and so there's some asymmetry to it. But it all goes together. All the slots and everything are in the right place and will line up fine. I'm going to disassemble this one again completely, though, this time, and show you how to put these things together physically. And this is the small bunny, and it's only about 3 millimeters by 3 millimeters, give or take. Mama Bunny, in fact, Craig, if you're still with us, Craig was asking me last night in our live stream I did for the patrons, he says, well, when you scale it up, it's not going to be quite as fragile, is it? And I said, well, yeah. I think what he was talking about is, this is only 3 millimeters wide. Now that's close to 10 millimeters wide. So it did get it's much larger and it's not flimsy as this, but it's that large and only 10 millimeters. It's still flimsy. Each individual of these by themselves is quite fragile. The notch that's on the back of the piece without the bunny tails, the feet and the ears rather, that is intended to go to the rear. So I'll take my bunny and I will insert that bottom notch and go ahead and interlock those together. Those are locked into place. And then try and keep it centered so that that's lined up. Look how high that is. Get my finger away. See how high that is? But there is, if you keep this in place down here, there's enough flex in here that will roll in there and then pop and snap into place. And now those are interlocked and they're not going anywhere, especially once you put the centerpiece in. If we go back here to Lightburn for a second, auto, we come here. I'm going to, if we look right there, see how I've got this radius on here? That's there so that it makes the insertion of this piece easier. Get it in there any way you can, but put that in that notch in the rear first. And that radius is going to allow you to put that in and start rolling it down. And as you roll it down, there are small little notches. Bring the tail back to you with this notch, and then you can take your fingers and just push that down, and it slides right into place. And it's the exact same process for putting the mama together, the big one. Not difficult at all. Now I want to show you what I did with the layers. So to create some character to the bunny without having to paint it. And I don't know how well it'll show up here. The lighting is pretty bad. And let me see if I can get it to focus on there. Get my fingers in the way. There we go. All right. So the inner part of the ears are done on a crosshatch and a line after fill. And then the paws are done in a offset fill. And so they've got those circular paw pads going on. So that way it's something that's been getting me back into focus. There we go. You can create some technique without having to paint it. Now, if you want to, you can paint it. Oh. So here. This one I did not pre-paint. I did all the engraving first and then painted it pink from about 4 feet away. So it's very, very light overspray. So you still see some of the cross hatching and the circular offset fills. But there's a pink mama bunny. So you can paint it, but using these techniques with the fills, the offsets, and the cross hatches, it's not necessary. Before I jump into that, I'm just going to look through here. And if there's any new viewers here, if it hasn't already been covered in the comments, the reason you're seeing these numbers pop up in here, any new viewers, anytime I ask that anytime you learn something new from what I'm demonstrating in Lightburn, just put if you learn something new, put down a 1. If you learn 2 things new, put down a 2. And this is just a thing that we do to let the Google Analytics know that you're here, you're watching, you're active and participating in the live stream and not just sitting here taking notes and being very observant and taking it in. I'm guessing that's a lot that you've learned. Either that or that's your zip code. I don't know. Let's see here. Chicago Bob says, I've learned more about node editing from watching Steve's videos than from anything else. Thanks, buddy. Yeah, and once you get comfortable working with nodes, man, it makes things so much easier when you want to make custom stuff. Question mark from Craig. No one else is putting toolpaths in their designs. Thank you for thinking of us and not just the sale. Yeah, well, I actually, um, I saved this file, admittedly, 3 different times, and actually 4, because I couldn't remember if on the 3rd time I remembered to put these toolpaths in there or not. So I went back and did it a 4th time, then uploaded that back to the website, because that way I was like, because some of these files for me, they're pretty basic, because I do this all day, every day. I might take a day off. Sundays, I usually take Sundays off and recuperate from the previous week. Uh, but some of this, you talking about node editing and stuff like that, for newbies, it's like, you want me to do what? And how to do what? So I do try to think of, while these can be fairly advanced files for beginners, I do want to teach people to be able to do more advanced stuff. If you're doing beginner stuff, that's all you ever do, and that's all you ever share, and that's all you ever promote, then maybe you don't even have any real growth. I want to push my own limits. Just like with that bamboo the other day, I fell into that. That was another happy little accident. And it was just by pushing the envelope. What can you do? And that's how you learn. And so I try to think of those things, but I'm not always as diligent about some of that stuff as possible, or as I should be. Do you think it would work okay with 6mm? I've not made it out of anything 6mm, but I don't know why it wouldn't. You're not going to have as much flex and move. Actually, probably depending on the material itself, you because it's a flimsy design, yeah, you probably get it together no problem, probably. But I've not. That's the other thing I do when I do my creations and my designs. I'm not thinking. I'm guessing maybe you're working, Norman, with a CO2 if you're doing 6mm material. Because anybody that's doing 6mm material with a diode, can you do it? Yeah, but you start losing your focal point of your laser starts expanding after, so you get tapers and cuts, and I don't like working with really thick wood with the diode. And I'm looking forward to getting one of the new 24-inch rollies when it comes out in this spring. But when I design with this material in mind, because that's what the majority of the people are using. So I will come up with some advanced designs, like my gumball machine. It's a functioning mechanical machine made out of 3mm Baltic birch. But yeah, I don't know why you couldn't do it with a 6mm. We got an old guy in the house. Hey there, old guy, and he's getting excited to be here. We're excited that you're joining us, sir. And I hope that you saw my comment. Old guy had tried to post in the Facebook group and the Facebook Hobo with Wood group and on Facebook, and he couldn't post. He's like, man, every time I do it, his comments turned off. Well, I ran into the same thing one day. I was like, why are these turned off? Turns out you cannot post from a business page or it has to be from your personal page. I think you did mention that. I think you said you'd comment now from now on as your personal page. That's right. So I never turn off comments. If you ever see anybody saying, oh, they turned off the comments, no, I didn't. You're trying to post from either something that you shouldn't be, or you're just not from your own personal page. Question mark. I see the moonshine is empty. No, it's not empty. No, it's not empty. That's the original, and we're getting off topic. That squirrel, it's half full, but it's not because it's been drank. I created my own flavor. In fact, I shared that with John today, and it spurred an idea with him that he's thinking about having a contest to have your create your own flavor. Who has the best flavor to creating your own moonshine? So that might be coming down the path. Hopefully a lot of things will be coming down the path with that as we get things rolling. But no, that ain't empty. I'm making my own flavors. Where are the squirrels? Well, there's one pop up. There's a squirrel. Why did the omelet go to the doctor? It needed an exam. Oh. Your lips are moving. I'm learning. Thanks for everything. Well, if my lips are moving, okay, good. Let's see here. Okay, now caught up on those comments. Let's jump back up here and look at these layers and explain. Ooh, that nope, wrong. Didn't mean to post that one. I meant to post that one. Key limes. Ooh boy, that Carl. That sounds interesting there, boy. Yep. All right. All right. Back to Lightburn. Switch. Back to okay now, and I wish I could zoom in here and show you these, but here there are five layers. One of them's a toolpath. I can open. Well, didn't mean to do that. Exit full screen. I'm working on the wrong screen. There we go. There's 5 layers there. If I open that and bring it up big, the black layer is just a regular feel, but it's a line after feel. Line after feel is extremely important when you want to really define your engraving. Be it on, and it's really valuable to do on the bamboo, because you do that line after feel, you can actually get a really good dark line in that, and it looks really awesome. But it's crucial when you're doing crosshatches. Where's my? Oh, there's my crosshatch. Somehow those got out of order. That shouldn't be there. And that's something to pay attention to, guys. Anytime you get your files from me or anybody, you need to make sure your speed and power settings and your priority is set correctly. Never assume that these are going to work for you and that they're in the right order, because just then that cut layer was moved, and that's not where I had it. I don't know if I moved it a minute ago accidentally or somehow it got saved wrong, but this is the way it should look. So this blue layer is the offset fill. That's the paw prints. The black layer is my engraving with a line after fill. This is a crosshatch with a bidirectional fill with a line after fill, and it's done at only 25 lines per inch, or a 1.0 line interval. And I'll zoom in real tight on the preview and show you that, and show you the difference between line and line after fill, or with it or without it. So if we select, in fact, we'll grab this bunny. This is the rambunctious one, the one that's full of energy and always getting in trouble. We go to the preview. There's that crosshatch with a 1.0 lines of. Oh man, my brain is shutting down. It's 24 lines per inch. There we go. And this is the regular engrave. But if you see here, these crosshatch, you have a defined line that closes that crosshatch. Well, that line, that's the line after fill. So if you're going to do a crosshatch like this and create a pattern, if you want it to look finished, you have to do that line after fill. Now, there is your offset fill with a bunch of circles, and that's what offset does. It just keeps going in circles until it finally fills the area. But it's an offset fill, and I increase the lines per inch on it as well. So if we go back here and go to here, and I'm going to tell this to turn off. I'm just going to turn the output off. I'm not going to delete it. I turned off the output for that sublayer for that line after fill. Now we go back and we look at that crosshatch in the ears. Right? It didn't do it. It didn't turn it off. What happened? Output, no. Oh, I didn't say okay. Stupid. Now, there we go. Now, if I do a preview and we go in and look, now you see how it's open. It doesn't have a finished look to it. So anytime you're going to do fills with exaggerated line intervals to create patterns, and you can change those angles. I got it at a 45, you get it 22, 33, whatever, and create different looks. But it is extremely important that you put that line after fill in there if you want it to have a closed and finished look. Turn that back on and say okay this time. Dum-dum. All right, and then that offset fill, that was done at 45 lines per inch to create that spacing that you're seeing on those paw prints. So if you get this file, the fills, the offset fills, and the crosshatch, and all those are set that way to create that look. If you don't want that, and you just want to put a regular engraving in there, you can do it. But not only does it add character to it and gives it some definition and something a little bit more unique, it's a whole lot faster. Even on something this small, if you were going to engrave that solid area all the way, that whole inner part of the ear is all a solid engraving versus doing 25 lines per inch on a crosshatch real fast, that's a real fast way to create some unique look and not take forever on the laser. All right, let's see here. Let me get back. Okay, there's lips are moving. I'm learning. Question marks. Hey, congratulations. No question there. This is Moses is getting his Rolly 20 watt. You're going to love it. Oh my goodness, you're going to love it. All right, John asked, that was not me asking about the moonshine, but now that we're on the topic, Cal, about a round for all. Yeah. Yep. Squirrel. Question mark. I don't see the line after fill option. How do I get that option? Okay. That is a sublayer. So let's go back over to Lightburn. And way back in a day and way before my time, I think there actually was just a button that you turned on that was called line after fill. And so they still use that terminology that it's a line after fill, but there's not just a single button that you turn on anymore. So let's go over to Lightburn, and I'm going to go back to that same one. And you've got two, this is the blue layer, right? This is an O3 layer. But if you look right here, this is a fill mode, and there's a line mode. There are actually, that's layer, sub layer 1 and sub layer 2. I'm going to delete it. So if, in fact, if I had this on, well, when hopefully you understand there what I did about the lines per inch. Normally you might be doing engravings at around 250 lines per inch. And when you look at that preview, it's just going to be a solid fill like that. So if I go back to that and I change my line interval to only 25 lines per inch, and we'll change the scan angle to 33 degrees. And here it's showing you what it's going to do. I'm doing a crosshatch. If I turn that off, you see it's only going to do, that's the bidirectional fill moving back and forth. If I want to turn that off, now this takes forever to engrave this way because it's going to engrave a line, stop engraving, come back, engrave a line, stop engraving. So bidirectional fill is a big time saver. But now we got crosshatch. I got 33 degree scan angle. I'm actually going to turn crosshatch on. And now it's going to engrave on a 33-degree angle on the X and the Y. Here, it's not truly X and Y because we're doing it at a scan angle of 33 degrees. But then I want to give that final line after fill, because this is the fill. Now I need a line. Well, how do we do that? This plus mark right here. Plus. That will add another sub layer to this layer. And right now it shows it's already in line mode. Now you just got to set your speeds and powers. But if you wanted to, for whatever reason, you could change it to an offset fill and do a fill and then an offset fill. Almost, it looked terrible, but you could do that. But typically you want to do a fill and then a line after fill. And when I'm doing it on something like this, where these have been engraved on the 33 bidirectionally at a speed of 75 and 40, well, I'm going to want that same look. So I'm going to use my same speeds and powers for that outer line so that everything looks like it's supposed to be there. It's uniform. So that's how you get a line after fill. Let's see here. Don's asking, are my settings for the 30 or the 10? That's for the 30. Are these settings, line after fill, etc., in your file that is available to us? Yes. You just answered my question. Yes, I did. And I answered it again. And I answered that one. Did you engrave on the 10 or 30? That one's, I did all that on the 30. Is there a way to change an object from an image to a line / fill? I don't do a whole lot with actual images. If you're talking about an actual image, like from a photograph, or it's a grayscale or something like that, then you're going to have to get into some type of probably a conversion. I think maybe we can convert it over to an SVG and then do a trace. And you might could even do that with some images. But that's a slightly different topic. What is it? I think it's Convertio. It might be one of the websites where you can convert images to SVGs. And I think you get a better result from traces from SVGs than you do from images. I don't even know if you can trace an image in Lightburn. I don't know. I've never tried. But that's a little bit off the topic. Let's see here. Questions. Okay, can't do the image I've been working on. Okay. And now this right here, Jack in the Shop, he said, and I'm guessing he said, yeah, you can. You guys might have been having your own conversation. Yeah, and here a couple of these guys, they're Inkscape. I mean, there's ways that you can convert the image over and get into line mode. I just don't know, Jack. Can you trace an actual image in Lightburn, or do you have to do a conversion? We'll see if he has an answer to that. If he knows, I don't know. Yeah, you can trace. You can trace. Yes, you can trace an image in Lightburn, or yes, you have to do a conversion. And I still don't have. I don't have clarification yet. Can't. Well, I know that Jack is correct because I just his. He's been doing this longer than I have. It will not be that great until you move the contrast up with GIMP or Photoshop. Yeah. I know there's a trace option in Lightburn, but the question was, can you trace an image, a photo? If you can trace SVGs, but SVGs are not images in Lightburn. And I'm thinking that's what he's talking about. He's actually got a true image and not an SVG. And Norman saying you can trace bitmap graphics pretty well, but photos are a very mixed bag. Yeah. I'm not, and I'm not I've done some images. I've done more with the images there on my mirrors. That was an ultra high definition photograph that was put in the mirror. And that was a lot of work. But I think from what I see, when people are actually converting images and bringing them into Lightburn, as you see, people are putting in here Inkscape, all kinds of other things. They're preparing that image somewhere else and then bringing it into Lightburn. All right. No notes. Okay. All right. Now what I want to do, we've still got 133 of you here. We're only an hour 10 into this. Let's see here. If I want to jump over to YouTube real quick. So switch in, and go to comments. There were some questions that I wanted, like here, Rick's talking about, acacia wood is difficult, and he was talking about trying to do that on that defocusing. I don't know. It's worth a try, but I think you're going to have totally different results. Okay, here. I don't know if Stephen Nixon is with us tonight, but he says, let me expand that. I wonder if you can tell me why when I draw a hexagon in Lightburn, and he's at 1.5.02, the width and the height are equal, for example, 12 millimeters, but the length of the four sides is 6.71, and the top and bottom are 6 millimeters. Shouldn't they be the same? With the pentagon, there are 3 different sizes. How do you know, or do you know how I can change the sizes of these individual sides without breaking it apart or reassembling it? And he regards the English magician. I looked at this, and I'm not on 1.5.02 yet, but unless they change something, if you go to your polygon tool and you hold your shift button when you start drawing this out, and he's mentioned hexagon. So if I go to properties and change that to a pentagon rather, and then let's put it in a tool or a line mode. If I go to my ruler and check each of these, that's 7465, 7465, 7465. These are all the same size. You mentioned that you were getting some that were not the same size. But I think what you may be failing to do is you're not holding your shift key. Possibly. I don't know. I don't know what, without seeing it, I don't know, because now if I change that to a pentagon and I take a look at my ruler, now there's 28, 21, there's 24, 26. And those are going to be all, not all different, but they're, varying sizes. But if you hold your shift button when you draw out a polygon of any shape or any number of sides, it should come out to be all equal sides. It should be a, what do they, I think they call it a regular. When they're all the same, it'd be a regular pentagon. And if you don't hold your shift button, you get an irregular. So hold your shift button to create regular polygons. Don't hold it and you get irregular polygons. Now let's see if there were any others that I wanted to address. We talked about the focusing of the laser. Okay, I think I covered all those that I wanted to cover and some of them without even referring to them. Let's go back over here. All right. Let's see. Looking for any questions, any question mark here. Has anyone used scratch paper on the laser? I have, Dale. We did that on the other channel, and I really liked the way it looked when Patrick did it with his fiber. It was a lot more vibrant, but when I did it on the diode, the colors were very muted. It did not have the same result. I didn't like the way it looked on the diode. It really looked good with Patrick's fiber laser. Now, I did see some stuff that Steve Venturi was doing. And I don't know which laser he was doing it on, and I don't know. There's all kinds of scratch papers. Some of the stuff I think I seen him doing is like maybe there was a solid color underneath it, and because I don't think it was stuff he was painting, as he's been doing some of that too, painting. But some of the stuff Venturi was doing really looked good. So if you're interested in that, if you haven't seen Steve Venturi's workshop on YouTube, jump over there, subscribe to it, and look on his videos for scratch paper, or because he's got some pretty impressive results. And he's got a plethora of lasers. So I don't know what lasers he's did it on, but those looked impressive. Brad says, yeah, and it makes a mess. And I didn't do enough to see how messy it would get, but I don't know. Is it messier than bamboo? Because bamboo can make a terrible mess too. Let's see here. Pop-up's leaving. That scroll up. Brad's asking, no, that's still not the same one. It keeps scrolling every time I try to click on the question. Rhonda asks, have you tried painted canvas? I've got half a dozen canvases laying over there that I'm ready to paint up and try. I have not done it personally yet, but that's another thing that I've seen Steve doing, and with some really, really impressive results. So, I haven't seen him in the stream tonight, but he probably can't see it in the replay or not. But if not, y'all tell him I sent you over there. Steve Venturi's workshop, Venturi, I think. He does some pretty impressive stuff with those painted canvases as well. Wouldn't using an SVG file for resizing, say, boxes eliminate the need for node editing? Wouldn't using an SVG file for resizing? I don't know. Once you bring in an SVG to Lightburn, it's no longer an SVG. It's a Lightburn file. Wouldn't using an SVG file for resize boxes eliminate the need for node editing tabs and slots? Once you bring that, and if I'm understanding your question, it's an SVG until you import it into Lightburn. And once you import it into Lightburn, it's no longer an SVG. So I don't know that bringing in that would help you at all. Yeah. Carl, I see a comment, but that's so sad. Question mark. I know you aren't on 1.5.02 yet, but all of a sudden my docking isn't working right. It's stopping short. Booleans won't work. Have to move manually to get objects to touch. That's not 1.5.02's fault, most likely. There are a couple things you can check. And y'all been looking at Lightburn the whole time? I'm so sorry. Because wouldn't you much rather look at all this in all of its glory? And whenever you're having a problem with docking, there are a couple of issues with docking. Number one, docking only works when you're on the workbed. But since you're saying it's stopping short, that tells me you're trying to dock on the workbed. If you're off the workbed, docking doesn't work at all. But there is the padding option over there at the end of the docking tools. Make sure that your padding is set to 0.0. If there's a value in there at all, that's where it's going to stop your docking. If you've got a 1 in padding, then when you go to dock it, it's going to stop 1 millimeter or 1 inch, whatever you've got it set at. When you put that value in there, it's where it's going to stop short at. So check that and see, because like I said, I don't have one of the O2 up there yet, so I can't check and see. But jump over and look at yours and see if you've got a value in the padding. The value in padding needs to be 0, 0 in order for docking to work. Let's see here. Oh, there we go. Padding was at 0, 0. If it's not docking all the way, and it's, I will. I don't know that, and honestly, that's the reason I haven't put in 1.5.02 yet. Here, the last few times they've done any updates, it seems that the new updates that are supposed to be fixing bugs bring in their own bugs of their own, and so I've been just kind of waiting. I'm at 1.5.01, but I think I'm going to wait for 1.6 to come out before I update again, because these sub updates, the 01s, the 02s, those are fixing small bugs that are there. But that's weird because I'm in 1.5.01. Let's put it back to Lightburn now instead of if I'm on my work bed, which I am, and if I take we need squares. Delete all that. All right, if I select that, I've got my padding at 0 and I tell it to dock to the left, it's docking all the way over. So I don't, and for folks that aren't aware of what docking is, that's these 4 buttons up here. And if you're not seeing these, then that is, you see those by going to your windows and arrange long. Turn on arranged long, and that will give you more controls in your menu up top. And the purpose of docking is when you have multiple items. Let's put another, and they don't have to be squares. We'll do a circle. And if you got multiple items on here and you want all those butted up against each other, if you select them all, actually, and if you'd say, you know what, I want to have a 1 millimeter, because I'm in millimeters over here. I put my padding to 1. I want to have a 1 millimeter pad and tell it to dock. And here, if you wait for it, it says dock objects leftward. That one, dock objects rightward. But there's little lines that indicate motion behind the square. But when you dock it, it's going to dock everything together. And this is a neat thing sometimes when you're just trying to nest stuff and get the most out of your material, and you're not worried about how it's laid out. You just want to get it all nested up close together. And also, if you're wanting to, here, since we did a padding of 1 millimeter, they're 1 millimeter apart. So removing overlapping lines won't work. But if you set your padding to 0 and you select that one right there and tell it to dock over to this one, it's going to dock right up against each other. And when if you have your optimization set on to and optimization settings to remove overlapping lines, then when it goes to cut that out, it's going to cut out 3 sides of that square, 3 sides, and then that center one time. It won't cut that twice. And that's where docking comes in real handy. Let's see here. Go back up here, turn that off, turn me back on. Okay. All right. We're at an hour 24. Hour 24. Is that 90 minutes? Is that all we've been? Is 90 minutes? All right. Well, I wouldn't, and that was not my target, but that's where we're about at. So a reminder for folks who have just tuned in, or maybe not just tuned in, but tuned in after I shared this. I want to share this one more time. It's worth mentioning. It's about doing the subscribing. I've been having that scrolling across the bottom of the screen for this whole time. Subscribe to the channel if you enjoy what you're seeing and you're learning stuff from here, and you really want to see this continue, and you don't want to miss any live streams. Because another thing that something I may have to do to combat what's going on. I don't want to be combative, but to keep people guessing about when I'm going to be online, so they not able to just, well, we're going to go online first. I may start, instead of doing recorded Tuesdays and Thursdays every day at 4 or this or whatever, I might be doing more honest to God pop-up lives. And if you don't want to miss those, then go over to YouTube, and let me pull this up. Use guys that's been here the whole time. You've already seen this, but bear with me because I've got some more announcements too, but there's 120 some odd people here that maybe 60 of them wasn't here when I said it to begin with. If you go to your favorite channel on YouTube, and mine right now happens to be Adam, and I've already subscribed to it, but I'm going to unsubscribe. If you're not already subscribed to this channel, when you go to hobowithwood.com, come down here and hit the subscribe button. But if you want to make sure you do not miss any live streams or any upcoming videos, you need to come over here and tap on this bell, then wait for this to pop up and come up here and click on all. And now you see that says you'll get all notifications. So that's how you make sure you don't miss any of the live streams. You'll get notified whenever a live stream is going to be coming on. I don't know exactly how far, maybe 30 minutes in advance or something. It's like, hey, I got a notification that Steve's going live in a few. Okay. So you'll have some advance notice. You won't be caught unawares and miss the first 10 or 15 minutes. So hitting that like, share, subscribe, and the bell for notifications is going to help me out a lot. Mark says, now it's working. Maybe the piece I was docking to was skewed or something, threw me for a loop. Yeah, that could be an issue there too. It was docking at one little point, but the rest of it looked like it was off a little bit. Thank you, Richard. Yep, that's and I wanted to mention that at least twice. I plan to mention it at least 3 times, but twice is good, beginning and the end. And then also, let me get the dates back up here. I think it was the 15th, I think. Yeah. Reminder, June 15th, 3 p.m. Eastern time. Put it in your Google Calendar. Make a note of it. If you have to, tattoo it on the back of your eyelids. That's when I'm going to be doing my 2-year anniversary live stream. Leo is committed to giving away a rollie in that live stream. And we're not limiting it to the continental United States. I'm not limiting any of my giveaways to the continental United States. In fact, somebody that won one of the cutting boards last week was like, I know you don't want to ship to Hawaii, so my sister lives just down the street from you. Send it to her. I actually looked, and there was only about $1 or $2 difference between the postage just down the street versus the postage to Hawaii. It wasn't that much difference for that cutting board. Now, something much larger would be a totally different ballgame. But I'm trying to be all inclusive. That's why I'm doing the multiple time slots. And I want everyone to feel like, well, hey, I'm as welcome here as anybody, regardless what my imaginary border is that says, well, I'm in the north, or I'm in the south, or I'm on this side of the pond or that side of the pond. In my eyes, we're all created equal. Most of us. All of us. So the 2-year anniversary, June 15th, 3 p.m. Eastern time. Somebody's going to get a free rollie. You don't have to worry about, is there enough viewers or are there enough likes or enough shares? It's going to happen. It's going to happen on that date, sometime in that 3 p.m. live stream. All you got to do is be there to win. But you do have to be there to win. my patrons that asked me about, can you make sure all the gold patrons at least have a chance? You do if you're there, but I can't. I don't have a way of doing anything else, any extra special. But in the way of doing things extra special, StreamYard giveaway. I've got to practice this because I've really got to get good at this. Come on, where are you? Nope. And I actually need to, there it is, I think. Yeah, I need to bookmark this. All right, choose a stream. There we go. Start collecting. Nope. Yep. Go back. Come on, fingers. We're getting there, folks. Just give me a second. Start collect. There we go. All right. If you like this file and you would like to have this file for free, I'm going to give away, we'll give away 3 coupons that you can download this for free. It's on sale right now for half price, but I'll give away 3 coupons to get it for free. You can download it right now. And to be entered in the drawing, and we're just going to enter, because the way this is supposed to work, and this is going to be a learning curve for me, everybody puts in their names, and we'll do 1 drawing. That winner should be excluded from the second drawing. But if for some reason the same name comes up twice, they can't win twice. But for a chance to win a free download, hashtag Peter. Hashtag Peter. And I'm just looking at some of the questions here. Where is the removing overlapping lines? I forgot and can't seem to find it. That's in your your optimization settings. Go over here to Lightburn real fast. That's not Lightburn. That's still Adam Savage's channel. Optimization settings in your laser control tab, about a little over halfway down on the right. Optimization settings pops up this menu, and it's the bottom option right here, remove overlapping lines. And then you can actually set your tolerance for what Lightburn considers to be an overlapping line. If you wanted to, you could tell it to have anything within a millimeter is considered an overlapping line, but that would give you pretty horrendous results in a lot of cases. So I personally am using a 0.025, which I think may be the default. Let's see. Yeah, that's a oh no, actually, Carl, no. Well, yeah, that's right. Gold patrons get it for free anyway. So if you enter here for Pound Peter and you're a patron, gold patron, if I call your name and say, "Oh yeah, I'm gold," own up to it, and we'll let somebody else win because you get it for free anyway. Turn off Carl, and let's see here. I see a lot of Peters. Let's see here. Oh, and I mentioned it, but I didn't show you. Tiger's Eye, we loved your files, but if you could throw some of that moonshine in, that'd be great too. Yeah. Question mark. Are they on your page? These? Yeah, they're on the page. They were live before I ever went live. And looking here at Cockatoo, no space, hashtag and 1 T, hashtag Peter. And only one entry. You can enter all you want, but it only counts once. But hashtag PETER. All right. Now, what I wanted to show you, go back to Lightburn. If you're going to do the mama and both of the little ones, what I meant to do and failed to do was ungroup this and delete that hole in the middle because you don't need it. And same thing over here, delete that because you don't need it, because this gives you 6, 10, and then one in each of the babies is 12. And then with that solid area on the top, you could actually put one of those little miniature chocolate bunnies or something like on there, or just any other decoration for that matter. So if you're going to do the family, you have that option, and because you don't need them, delete those center holes, and you can put extra decoration up there or extra candy. I meant to mention that earlier. So those who bailed on this already, they've lost out on the channel or the giveaway, and they missed out on that tip. All right, so all the Peters look like they've about done. So let's look here at this. I just got something else I got to remember is I got to remember to bring that over so you guys can see it. So there you go. So we got 59 entries, and we're going to do 3 drawings and draw once. Dwight Redmond. Dwight Redmond, congratulations. If you will send me an email at hobowithwood@gmail.com. That's that up in that top corner of the screen, Hobo with Wood, 4-letter words, hobowithwood@gmail.com. Send me your just an email said, hey, I'm a winner and I'm not a gold patron, and you'll get one of those files to draw for free. Now we'll draw again. No, caps do not matter. Just hashtag Peter. And 2 more drawings. Draw again. And hey, there's a face I recognize. Dale Linden, congratulations. And same thing for you, Dale. Hobowithwood@gmail.com. And I will, as soon as I'm done with this live stream, I'll go over and create those coupons and see why. Are there any gold patrons that are on here who have already downloaded it? I know somebody said they were having a problem. They couldn't do it. Has any gold patron had success downloading the file? All right, last drawing for a free Easter Bunny family egg holders. Steve Truelove is our third and final. So Steve, hobowithwood@gmail.com. Hobowithwood@gmail.com. And Jesse, you're saying yes. I'm guessing that's yes. You've downloaded it. So I don't know who said they were having problems. But hopefully, if any of the patrons are having problems still getting the file, send me a message in patreon.com, and I'll make sure you get that accordingly. Let's see here. Crafting with Gene says, yeah, I was able to download it. I have not loaded or tried to cut. Yeah, loading it and cutting shouldn't be an issue, but what I was understanding, they couldn't even get it to download. But there's a lot of picnic areas. Dale, are you gold? And is that why I know your face and know your name? Let's see here. Yeah, that's why I knew that face. All right, guys. So we got one more to give away. Dale is a gold patron and he gets it for free anyway. So we're going to draw again. We're going to draw again. And come back over here and draw one more time. John Dewell or Dowell. John, if you're still with us, send me an email at hobowithwood@gmail.com. Hobowithwood@gmail.com, and I will get you that coupon for a free download. Let's see here. Y'all being silly. All right, what's question marks here? Joined as a gold in January, went to Patreon, and it still wants me to join. Checked, and they are taking payments. Let me see if I see you real fast. Yeah. And I've sent you back on January 14th, I welcomed you and sent you a coupon to use on hobowithwood.com. Email me outside of Patreon. You send me an email at hobowithwood@gmail.com, and I will send you your coupon code if you don't already have that. That way you can be taking advantage of your gold status and getting all these files for free. But anybody that's having problems with Patreon, creators like myself, we have no control over that at all. That site, we have only thing we can do is put a post on it. I can't access anything. I can't do anything. There is, and I will find that link again, but there's a support page for just for getting customer support, if you will, on Patreon. But I'm guessing you joined for two reasons. You joined because you want to support the channel and help things keep going. And as a gold patron, you get all those files for free. So ultimately, you're doing the first by just being a member, but you haven't been able to log in, so you haven't been able to see your coupon code, so you're not getting your free files. So email me, hobowithwood@gmail.com. I will confirm your email through Patreon and all that stuff, make sure it is you and it's not somebody posing as you, and I will send you that coupon code. I'll do that this evening if you email me. I try to get those. Patreon usually takes anywhere from 20 to 30 minutes, or sometimes a little longer. Once you sign up, they process all the information, process the payments. Once that all clears and all is done, then they send me a notification that someone's joined. And if I'm not in the middle of recording or live streaming, I try to get a coupon out or code out pretty quickly to that new member. That is sent to you through messaging in Patreon. And a lot of people are still struggling on how to see the messages, even on the computer. It's even more difficult on the phone. But I'm going to do a video just for the patrons that will be just in Patreon, showing you how to use all these things to see your messages and how to send me messages. All right, let's see. Any other questions that are popped up there? Let's see here. Nope. Looks like it's good. All right, so I'm looking for the 3 emails. I'll send you the 3 coupons. Guys, I really appreciate you coming and hanging out. I really do, considering the other options and things that are going on. Hopefully you learned a thing or two. We got some free neat files. For those who didn't win, it is available at half off until midnight tomorrow. And I'm doing that so that for the folks who are, it's too late now, they're not going to watch this until tomorrow on the replay. They can still go and get that half off. But it's only going to be half off for 24 hours. Half off on the Easter Bunny family egg family stand. And if you're not wanting the commercial, this is the religious file that I did. And I really like that. I like it. I like it a lot. Don't want to be critical, but that S looks like a G. Well, only thing you said there was critical, so I guess you were critical. But and I guess if you look at it, yeah, that can. If you want to see a G, you see a G. If you want to see an S, you see an S. It doesn't matter what you want to see. I like it. All right, guys. I'm going to do my usual thing. And I really do wish you guys could see what all happens on the backside of this when you click end stream. Because when you click end stream, it doesn't actually end the stream. You end up having to wait for it to do things, and you